Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. In today's episode, last episode we kind of stumbled our way into a quest. I have a contract to go to this broken down house, and we just happened to run past it while I was exploring question marks, so I figured I'd do it at the start of this episode, why not? We got this quest, by the way, as a refresher. I'll go over the actual journal. Sprawling out-of-town manors always hide their fair share of mysteries, and the residents on Novigrad's outskirts were no exception. When Geralt found out a haunted manor owned by a certain Kurt Dysart, he agreed at once to look into the matter. So it's apparently haunted, which we have the key to, because he gave it to us, I believe. Whoa.
Whole building shaking, but a spectre would have attacked me already. Inhabitants clearly left in a hurry.
Food on the table, but it's rotten. It's been there for a while. I don't think I've read that before. Maybe I have, but I'm going to read it again. Radovid V, the Stern, the hard slog to greatness. Which brings us to the epithet of the current ruler of Redania, the Stern. Allow me to diagnose the cause and consequence of his appellation. First, the seeds of Radovid's sternness were surely planted in his childhood. When Radovid was born to King Vizimir and Queen Hedwig in 1255, his care was immediately entrusted to Philippa Eilhart, the court sorceress. While none dared question if she was fit for the role of tutor, few now envisage her as having been a warm caregiver to a young child. What of harsh lessons she gave Radovid clearly left a lasting mark. The next step on Radovid's path to become the Stern, the death of his father, when Radovid was but 13 years of age. The rumour has it father and son barely knew one another. The mere fact of being thrust into one's inheritance at such an early age in such murky circumstances must have had a hardening effect. Finally, the Regency finished schooling Radovid towards becoming the Stern. Led by Sigismund Dijkstra of Tredegor, and Regency Council imparted upon Radovid a style of politics seeped in Dijkstra's aggressive, no-holds-barred, reason of state first principles. Such are the causes of Radovid's temperament. Now on to the consequences. Most manifestations of his fierce manner are well known. However, a few illustrative examples might prove useful here. They include his summoning of the Order of the Flaming Rose to be his armed enforcers, his later support of the witch hunters in their zealous cause, and finally, there is the massacre of Loch Muin. Yet, it is the fight against Nilfgaard that Radovid has proven himself truly the Stern. While the forces of other realms disintegrated in the faces of the Empire's onslaught, he has strengthened his own realm and taken command of the joint armies of the North. Whatever their opinion of him before, all clear-eyed observers now agree. Radovid V, known also as Radovid the Stern, is North's last bulwark against Emir's expanding power. Interesting. And probably relatively accurate, I would say. Another version of that book, interestingly. Kind of strange that there's so much... Oh, polymorphy. And a journal from the Moldov residence. To change form, to shape one's matter as clay. This is no novice's trick. No flickering glow light or rat-killing blue bolt. Only those with bowels soaked in oceans of magic arcana, and a few are born with bowels so absorbent, can hope to master it. Interesting, we know that Philippa can, polymorph. She can actually turn into an owl. She can't, as far as I'm aware, she's only been able to do it with an owl, so she's only been able to take one form, because she knows it very, very well. There are exceptions, of course. Dragons, as it is well known, possess such a talent innately. With no need to study, they can, guided by some otherworldly intuition, change between humanoid and reptilian form. As for the other races, higher vampires, examples of Bruxa, are known to flicker between states. Yet given the understandable difficulties of conducting research in this area, we do not know if this transition constitutes an act of polymorphy. The human race is, obviously, much more accessible to scholars of polymorphy. Their years of study have borne fruit in the form of a set of methods and guidelines for the identification, nurture, and development of this talent. The most accomplished result of the careful application of these methods, Philippa Eilhart. Indeed. Well, there you go. Just says it straight out. She's so well known that a book about polymorphy she has mentioned. But yeah, dragons can do it at will. They can just, between humanoid form, sometimes they're elves, sometimes they're humans, but down to a humanoid form, back to a dragon form. They can just do that at will. Higher vampires. It gives the example here of Bruxa, which, I mean, it's somewhat complicated because the term higher vampire is used both in the general sense here, but also in the proper noun capitalized sense of higher vampire as an actual type of vampire. It's confusing. There is a group of vampires that are the higher vampires, and then there are a subspecies called specifically capital H higher vampires. And they are far more powerful than Bruxa, and they are true... I was going to say true shape changes, but I don't think it's polymorphy. They change physically. But that's... Again, we'll get into that later. Journal from the Moldave residence. What a lovely home. I cannot believe we were able to buy it so cheaply. Valeria? It's an odd name. Valeria always had a keen mind for business. She haggled so fiercely and the broker dropped his price by a third. Incredible. That should tell you something. Valeria says the room layout is exceptionally well conceived. Tomorrow we will move all our things in. It will be good to have our own place. Finally, some peace and quiet. Once we had arranged all the furniture, Valeria decided we needed to paint the walls yellow. Perhaps this is for the best. It will make it more cozy. Valeria's mother visited us. Tomorrow I shall paint the walls green. That's weird. Valeria heard some noises during the night. She woke me several times, but I did not hear a thing. This night I heard them. The walls shook. Valeria has learned from the neighbours that previously a powerful mage resided in this home. They all say he would summon demons and his spirit still haunts its rooms. People will believe the most outlandish nonsense. Valeria has decided to move back in with her mother for some time, until I do something about the walls. I joked that perhaps I could simply repaint them, but I don't think she found that amusing. The plaster has begun to fall off. It seems to me that I heard a noise last night, something like a muffled roar. Valeria has returned. She found a buyer for the house. Avoided any suspicion by claiming to be a mage's widow, selling off the estate after her husband's unfortunate death at the stake. Fool Count must think he has found himself an incredible bargain. Yep. And Conjunctions of the Spheres, which we have read before, but it's good to have copies of that book.
Scattered salt. Probably to drive ghosts away. Pointless superstition.
Indeed. So they believed it was haunted as well, seemingly. That shake, by the way, is not me. That's just... the entire house is shaking. Although, as Geralt pointed out, if it were a ghost, I likely would have been attacked by now.
Air flowing through this crack. There's something in there. No one's been here in a while.
That does not sound like a ghost, does it?
Not the root of any ordinary plant. Must be magic. Looks like a journal.
A Maverick of Serrano's journal. When dealing with beings of this nature, it is most vital to achieve equilibrium between giving free rein of its will and obstructing it with the fetters of servitude. The sagacious elementalist, who has tamed a magic minion, should not heed the sweet yet pernicious urge to unbind the being, for only harm will come of it. Wailing and gnashing of teeth will be the only result. Likewise, he who tightens his servant's yoke overmuch will gain nothing from it, for his chained being will be to him dumb and dull as a lump of earth. The key is to prepare a proper magic barrier, one whose effectiveness shall be backed by a crystal of power. This crystal is of the utmost importance. If it should break, the barrier shall fail. Yet worry not overmuch, for neither axe nor blade can harm it. A barrier thus secured shall serve as the minion's prison without unduly hindering its power. The ability to erect it properly, however, demands a high level of proficiency. The kind no mere superficial study or practice can provide. The bunglers and ne'er-do-wells of our profession need not apply. Right, sounds suitably pompous. Must have Dugers make a clean copy of this first draft, prepare it for publication. Wonder where that clod is. I sent him out for some cheese and ink ages ago. That's kind of hilarious. So he's writing this for publication, but I love this footnote. It's hilarious. Sounds suitably pompous.
Earth elemental. Pretty powerful, too. Gotta go deeper. Need to open the passage somehow. Something clicked.
Well, open the door. I don't know how to get out of here. Oh, I can swim up here, that's fine. Yoinks. I'm gonna do a quick save here because... Well...
Almost managed to break its magic bonds. A few days more and it would have wreaked havoc all around.
Kind of insanely powerful. First things first, we're going to put on some elemental oil, because I do not trust this thing won't attack me immediately.
Damn, you're ugly.
Now this is powerful. Here's a long reach. Whew. Fantastic. So that one was actually probably stronger than the other one I fought, interestingly. But the other one I fought was a higher level, so I wasn't doing anywhere near as much damage to it. Either last episode or the episode before? I think I cut it out of the video, but I was fighting an Earth Elemental for like 6 minutes. And then I missed a dodge and I died. But this place has a fast travel point, which means I have no problem just fast traveling to Kurt and grabbing my reward right away. I believe he is in Oxenfurt. He is indeed. He's in the upper floor of the... Not the Passiflora, that's the other one. The other bar that I can't remember the name of. The one that Priscilla sings at. What's the name of it? The Passiflora is the big one, right? What's this one called? Oh, he's calling me a... The Kingfisher. The Kingfisher. I honestly forgot about that, but... he called me a barbarian just before because I was running around carrying a sword, which, fair enough, I suppose. Hello, Kurt Dysart.
You lumpen proletarian.
Lumpen proletarian. Fair enough.
Yes?
House shouldn't give you any more trouble. A little renovation and it should be fit for you to move into.
Truly? Why, the estate's price just spiked sharply. What precisely was the problem?
Earth elemental trapped in the cellar. It was just trying to get out. Almost demolished the house in the effort.
Far more interesting than a ghost, that's certain. The cellar you mentioned, is it in a state to be furnished?
Hard to say.
Oh, we shall see. Ah, your bounty. There you are. And farewell.
You could probably furnish it. It looked like it was elven ruins, which is probably why he built his house there. Like the original mage, he probably built the house there because the elven ruins are underneath. Makes for a good place to hide an earth elemental. Anyway, we got some gold for that, so that's nice. But I'm going to fast travel somewhere else. So I'm going to continue doing, because that didn't take me that long, yeah, it took me like 15 minutes, so I'm going to continue doing some of these question marks, which I guess the first one I could just come straight out here, couldn't I? Let's go to this fast travel point here, shall we? Because there is apparently something just out here. No idea what it might be. This close to the...
Grey boy, calm down.
Oh. He didn't like the fact that I, cast a spell. Hello, hag. Fucking water hags. Cool, dead water hag. She placed a bear trap on top of the treasure. I mean, it's not the most effective way to do your treasure, but I guess she's not exactly the most intelligent of creatures, I should say. Having said that, like, hags aren't exactly stupid, but I don't think water hags are particularly smart in the hag hierarchy. I think grave hags are probably more intelligent because they use more magic, which implies to me they're more intelligent, but I guess that doesn't necessarily correlate. Jesus, wolves do a lot of damage. Fucking hell. I do a lot of damage to them, but they also do a fuckload to me. Whew. I mean, that was, in unto itself, pretty damn difficult. I'm very close to the end of my potions as well, by the way. I no longer have, like, a big heal, so I should be somewhat careful. Bear. I don't really want to fight the bear, if at all avoidable. Luckily, he was asleep. I guess it's winter, probably hibernating. We'll be fine. Guarded treasure. That's another water hack. Could be a bilge hag, actually. It is indeed a bilge hag. Hello. Ow. Bilge hag, by the way, as far as I'm aware, is like essentially just a water hag. Cool. I think a bilge hag is essentially a water hag. The only real difference between them is that bilge hags kind of live in muck and swamp, whereas water hags live usually closer to fresh water sources. Well, not fresh, but like clean water sources, I suppose is a better way of putting it. So lakes, rivers, and the ocean, whereas bilge hags are more swamp, usually, I think is the main difference. Let's head this way. We're sitting in 20 minutes already, so we're close to probably the end of the episode. Like one quest and a couple of I'm just gonna meditate. I want my potions back before I fight this Draconid, which is clearly what we're running to fight. What is it, a basilisk? Killing sheep. Looks like a basilisk, maybe? Cockatrice. Son of a bitch is poisoning me, which I don't like. They have a wide attack range, Jesus. Bestiary entry added for Cockatrice. This thing killed a lot of sheep. You can see behind me, there's like a bunch of dead sheep. Like, makes sense. I've saved some shepherd, I suppose. But let's go to the bestiary. Because we can also got Elementor I can read as well. Specifically for Therazane. I do not believe in ghosts, it is that simple. But my men say the house shakes at night. Walls crumble. Why, even the floors move about. Kurt Dysart, Count of Ankar. Or Angkor, I suppose. There is no such thing as a risk-free real estate investment. It might turn out that your new house has a leaky roof, structural rot in the attic, a scratched floor in the living room, or elven ruins beneath its foundations, and within them an enormous earth elemental just waiting for a chance to break free of its chains. Fighting such a monster is no easy task. Its tough adder husk deflects all but the strongest blows. It can liquefy a man's bones with one crushing blow of its fist. Thus, one should never near it without first casting the Quen sign. Fair enough. One should have the Erden sign at the ready as well, whereas the other signs, Igni, Ard, and Axii, are completely ineffective against it. In the end, the Witcher triumphed over the powerful Earth Elemental, and in doing so, won the gratitude of and a reward from Count Dysart. It's a cool looking Earth Elemental, I give it that. But next we have Draconids and we have Cockatrices. Had myself 8 heifers, 5 of them milchers. Might actually be milker pronounced. Then the cockatrice sprung up nearby, and now all I got left is dried paddies and an empty field. Jethro, peasant from Pindle. Foolish superstition claims cockatrices, like basilisks, can kill with their gaze alone. This is utter nonsense. However, a cockatrice's gaze, being no more dangerous than that of an angry goose, one should instead watch out for its sharp beak and long tail, which can whip to murderous effect. Indeed. I love the way that cockatrices are portrayed in this game. They look so cool. This like head of a rooster and like... Yeah. It's like half dragon, half rooster essentially. This is probably the shepherd. Sorry buddy. I wasn't fast enough. That was nothing by the way, that was just a cockatrice. But it's now a dead cockatrice, so we can move on. I probably want to clear out a couple of these. I'm probably not going to get all of these question marks done in this episode, unfortunately. Which means today and tomorrow is going to probably finish off the question marks, and then following that... Oh, hello. Wait, are you even what I'm interested in? Kind of, because you could give me a red mutagen, so yeah, I'm going to kill you. All I got was this Drana tongue. So I got cavern popping up on my map, apparently. It's a fast travel point. Interesting. It implies there's a cavern around here, probably underwater, but... Let's instead head over here. Oh. This looks like a cavern. It's apparently a monster den, so let's clear it out, I suppose. I assume drowners. Or not. Another elemental. What is with these wizards around here building elementals? Jesus. It's not the best idea, generally. Seems to always end in their death, but they keep doing it. Geralt, don't punch the golem. This one's only level 75, it's much easier. And it's technically not a boss golem, it's just a golem. Bestiary entry added for golems. Oh, he didn't drop any loot, that's unfortunate. To be fair, there was also a shitload of loot in here, including a diagram for a feline. A feline sword. But we also got another bestiary entry, which I will read. Golems. If want us to break through this wall, we're gonna need 20 sappers, 7 mules, and 100 weight of saltpeter, or 1 golem. Vilma Brass, former of Mount Carbon. Golems are mindless matter brought to life by a spell. They obey their creator's orders without question. Their boundless strength, ability to withstand pain, endless patience, and the fact that they need not one jot of food or drink makes them the best servants or guards anyone could ask for. Once provoked, they will not tire of battle until they have either crushed their opponent or themselves crumble to dust. Fair enough. Actually, that is somewhat different. Earth elementals aren't the same as golems. Golems are created, earth elementals are summoned. It's not exactly the same thing, because an earth elemental is actually like a sentient thing that you summon and control. A golem is something you create, and isn't unto itself, or in unto itself a... it's not marked off my map, for some reason. A golem isn't unto itself real. It's like a inanimate object, essentially, that has been given life. So there is an actual difference between them. I'm going to clear this one out, and I guess this one and this one? Sure. Maybe I'll just do this one, then next time we'll do the rest. I heard Arrakis. Hello. Well, I heard in Drager. It turns out it was an Arrakis. Ow. Wow, this thing does, like, no damage to me. Well, comparatively no damage to me. Armored Arrakis, by the way, you have to attack from the front. Lesser green mutism, that's something. The reason you have to attack them from the front is because they have armor everywhere else, as you might imagine. But that's going to be it for this episode. So, if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time, where we're going to clear out this, then this. In fact, I think I'll do that first. And then these three, and then everything will be done to the north and west of the Yaruga. Which I'm pretty happy about, to be honest. It's a pretty big chunk of the map done. I like it. Except for these couple of monsters that were too hard for me. Let's just ignore them, though, shall we? We'll come back to them later. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. I'll see you next time.